Hey everybody, this is Larry. This is day 16 of the February Leetcode Daily Challenge. Let me move in a little bit. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join me on Discord. Let me know what you think about this problem. This problem is swap nodes in pair. I'm still in Medellin. Hopefully by now I'm saying it in a good way. Given a linked list, swap every two adjacent nodes and return its head. You must solve this problem without modifying the values. Okay, so you just changed. I guess that is actually a clever cheat, is by swapping the values instead of the nodes. Yeah, I mean, I think this one is just what it tests is just being careful, right? I always say this about linked list problems, and you can do that as well. Is and I don't have. I'm in Colombia right now, so I don't have pen and paper on me, or not usually as disposable as I usually am. But the way that I would do it is just like draw it out, right? Like, okay, for example, in here you have 1 to the 2, and then you try to go out to the end state, which is 2 to the 1. So then you figure out every step of the way what you want to do, and then just draw it out, right? One step at a time, and then once you draw out the diagram of what you want to do every step of the way and what it looks like every step of the way, then you can just implement it, and that becomes a lot easier. It's something that I struggled with a lot when I was younger, or like just less practiced. Because it's always when I was younger. Because I don't know. I hope I don't struggle in the future, right? So every struggle in the past is from when I was younger. But yeah. So I think that's basically it. And one disclaimer that I always have as well is that sometimes you see me on here, you see me code, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's just this. But there is years of practice or whatever. So don't be disheartened by someone who has just practice more than you, right? You could be here too if you're given enough years and practice. So that's just and I'm able to kind of visualize this because I'm like, oh, I've done it before. Maybe. So yeah, that said, my disclaimer is that every time I say that, I feel like every time I say that, I feel like I'm gonna make a mistake, and I'll be like, well, I just call myself an expert. I just told everyone I'm really good at this, and then I fail, right? Which you can take as two things. One is just that I'm arrogant, and two is that even good people run into issues from time to time. That's why they pay software engineers the big bucks, and that's why even huge companies with a lot of processes have bugs, right? It happens, like what you want to do is get to a level where sometimes people say I'm consistent with respect to Leetcode level problems, because for code force they're much harder, right? And I'm less consistent there. But consistency is just about doing well even on your bad days, right? Because we all are going to have good days, we all will have bad days. And on your bad days, if you practice, then some of your processes, some of your muscle memory, some of the things that you do will carry you, even if you're struggling a little bit. And hopefully I don't do this here, but you'll see that in some of my videos as well, where right afterwards I'm like, on a good day I could get this quickly, but today not so much. Anyway, okay, I've kind of rambled on a little bit without, just not even related to this problem per se, but this is, I don't know, I wouldn't say this is an easy problem per se, but it is just like a procedural problem. Right? Like you just have to, what I call bookkeeping, and what I mean by bookkeeping is that it's just keeping track of everything in a good place, and make sure that like every step of the way it is correct, and you identify invariant so that on your next iteration it'll be correct again or something like that, right? So yeah, okay. So there's a lot of talking. Let's get started. It is very easy to mess up, so let's see if we can do it. So yeah, so first, let's say we have a pair of nodes, right? So first node is equal to head dot. I always use this sentinel node so that we can modify dot next instead of the node, because that's how you do pointers. So that is something that I do a lot. And then second is equal to new, or first dot next, I guess. But of course you have to check that first dot next is none. Will this always have even number of nodes? I guess not, actually. Oh yeah, definitely not then. Okay, so if first is none, then we return new head dot. I mean, then you just return none, which is first, right? And then here, okay, and then now we go while first is not none and second is not none. Let's see. And at the very end, we just return new head dot next, and that should be good. But in the middle loop, then now we want to swap, right? And this is kind of the one tricky part about these kind of problems is that order matters, right? You can't just be like, okay, because and then wrongs. But you can create, you could use extra variables, so that's fine in theory. So okay. Actually, I think I did this wrong. I said we should only manipulate that next to keep it easier, and I messed up here, as you see, because I did that next. But what we should do is first is equal to new head, and this cannot be none, so let's just ignore it. And then second is equal to first dot next. Okay, that's good. And then I think the condition holds because new head cannot be none and first dot next can be none. But that's, then it won't go through here, and then it's good for the one node case anyway, and for zero case node case as well, obviously, right? And yeah, and you can, we can run it anyway because there is a zero node and one node case, so we could kind of see if that passes for those two, though obviously we won't pass for this one. And of course in TDD, test driven development, that's okay to get wrong, and that's the expected answer is getting them wrong, so that's fine. Okay, so then now we kind of look at it, right? So now we have two nodes. So actually, I mean, I don't have my drawing stuff here because I'm in Colombia, but you can imagine the first node points to the new head, which is actually pointing to the node. If you look at this diagram, the node that points to the one node, right? So then now we want to swap first dot next. We want the first dot next to be pointed at this, well, first dot next is already second, right? So we want, how do we want to say this? Can I do ASCII art? Okay, let's maybe try to do ASCII art a little bit. Let's see how that goes. All right, so we have this ASCII art, and we have this, new head thing. So let's do n for new head, and then now we want to do new head is pointing to 2, right? So that means that, so that means first dot next is equal to second dot next, right? Because first points at first node points at n, and second node point at the 1, right? Here we can maybe do some crazy ASCII art, yeah, right? Okay, but that's obviously, so then now first dot next, so then n will point at 2, and then it will look like this, right? So that's fine, but of course you also want the 2 to point at 1. And now here we lost the node to first dot next, so we can do, add a thing. So temp is equal to first dot next, so first dot next is equal to second dot next, and then now second dot next is equal to temp. But then, so then what happens here, right? So then we have, so temp is equal to the same thing that s is. Did I mess that up? No. Yeah, first dot next. So this is first is node. So temp is going to be the same as where the s is, right? Yeah. Wait. This is very easy to get wrong. So let me step back for a second. Okay, so let's say we have first dot next is equal to second dot next. So then we end up with this because this is first, and then the second dot next, s dot next is equal to 2, right? Okay. So t we wanted to not equal to, is equal to first dot next before we set it. Okay, and then now second dot next is equal to t, so then now second dot next will equal to t. But what does 1 point to? Well, this one node still points at 2, right? So that's not going to be good. So what we want now is first dot next is equal to, so maybe in this case, so second dot next is equal to 1, but then we want to set the 1 to the previous second dot next, right? Okay, okay. Let's just say this is pre first, and then maybe pre second is equal to second dot next, right? Man, I am confusing myself now. This is very easy to confuse myself, but this is why we draw it out, right? But yeah, so this is the previous one, and then okay, now up to this step, first dot next is equal to second dot next. So then, so we set this as to maybe I need to draw more state diagrams so that's a little bit less confusing. And so then here, this is after this step. And then this step means that the second dot next, and second is pointing at 1. Second dot next is equal to previous first. So that means that, is that right? So the 2 will point at the 1 because the second dot next, so the second is still pointing at the 1 node, so that's what's confusing, and second dot next is pointing at the 2 node. So then second dot next is pointing at the previous 1, so then now the 2 node, the second dot next is 2. Wait, what am I saying? No. Okay, the second, this is the second dot next is pointing at 2, so this actually is wrong. Okay, that's why, because I was like, this doesn't feel right. Oh no, I confused myself again. This is so easy to confuse. Okay, because I drew, so this is after this line, right? Okay, and then now we want to, and then second dot next is pointing at the 2 node. So second dot next is equal to first dot next because we said it explicitly, right? So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so then now the new, so then now we want to set the 2, and the 2, is there a pointer at 2? No, I mean, I guess there is no pointer at 2. The pointer at 2 is from 1, so yeah. So, okay. So then the second dot next, the 1 points at, oh no, this is the second dot next is 2, and the next point is the previous 1. So then now, after this statement, it should go something like this, but the 1 is still pointing at the 2, because from here, right? So then now, man, did I mess up? I guess so. No, yeah, I mean, and here, to have our pointers, this is our first pointer and this is our second pointer, right? And then now what we want to do is second dot next, which is the 1, we want to point it at the 3. And the 3 is, this is actually a bad variable name, I think maybe that's why. The 3 is of course the previous second next, right? So that means that the second dot next is equal to the previous second next. Okay, I think we're maybe good here. Like I said, drawing it out helps. It took way too long here. I don't even, oh, and this is infinite loop because I forgot to progress. Okay, so now let's say we're here, and I mean, this is infinite looping, so so now we have this. Okay, and kind of just to verify, we can add a break here just to kind of break after one loop to see if this is accurate or we have an infinite loop. And actually, we are wrong. I missed something clearly. So, so that's a good test to do. Yikes, right? Okay, let's see. I guess we can also check step by step. This is very easy to get wrong. Okay, so the second dot next is equal to first dot next. First dot next is the previous second. So, I mean, we're good at skipping it. So why is this wrong? So the second dot next is equal to previous first dot next. So that means that this points back at the second. I don't know. Like I said, it's even with a lot of practice. I jinxed myself by talking a lot earlier on, I guess. Okay, second dot next should. I mean, I guess this is wrong because if this is right, then we would have a 1 with an infinite loop. So marking. So previous. So this is previous first next, which is. Oh, this is at the 1 itself. No, but that's right. Maybe this is wrong. No. This sets it to the thing. This sets. So, oh my. This is very tiring. Okay, let's break every step of the way, and then I think we just have to. If we have a debugger, like we're a real engineer, we could able to do it. But yeah. Okay, so this is right. We are able to skip from new head. Yeah, so this we set the first dot next is equal to second dot. Oh, that's why this is weird. Oh, no, this is right. Because we wanted to point at the 2. Okay. I am really bad at this. Sorry, friends. And then after this, first dot next is equal to second dot next. So then here, it doesn't do anything, if I recall from earlier, right? What is so this should be pointing at the first node. Is that what? Am I wrong on here? Let's see. No, I mean, this is right. Well, maybe it's not. I don't know. Oh, no, this is right for this one, right? So this is right, but maybe the second is weird. Well, now it's, So the second dot next is pointing at the 1 because we changed it, maybe, or we didn't change it, but well, here now it's pointing at itself, which makes sense because first dot next is equal to second by definition, right? Am I doing? Wow, I'm really struggling today. Go sneeze. Sorry, this is, what happens when you have a live stream or live recording. Okay, so I am clearly wrong, but where did I go wrong? Okay, so this is second. No, the second is still pointing at the 1. So then we want the 2 to pointing at the 1. 2 is second dot next. No, first dot next is equal to the 2. That's fine. So first dot next is equal to second. First dot next. So we want to point at the 2, but the second dot next is the 2. Oh, I messed it up because second dot next is the 1 pointing at the 2, but here we want the 2 to point back to the 1. Okay, this is so easy to mess up. Because there's so many pointers that I'm messing up. Okay, now let's check it out real quick. I think this is where it has a cycle, or maybe not. So the 1, so when it starts, the second points at the 1, and then the 1 dot next is 2, and then dot next is equal to, well, there's the 2 pointing at the 3. Did I mess up? I mean, clearly, but okay, let's just print new. I think this prints the entire way, so we can kind of look at every step of the way. I think we have, like I said earlier, or trying to say earlier, I don't know if I finished it. We have a debugger, we could step every step of the way, but yeah. Okay, so here, yeah, so it goes -1, which is the fake head, 2, 3, 4 after this, that makes sense, and then now the second dot next. What is second? Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Let's do it here. What is second? The second, if I should be just first dot next, right? So the second would be, okay, the second is from 1, which we knew, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that is accurate so far. And then now what we want to do is we want to do, so first dot next is equal to 2, okay. And then now second dot next is equal to the 2. So then now we take that node, that next is equal to the first node, right? The previous first next. That's what we had before, right? Did I mess up something? It's so easy to mess up something. Okay, let's check it out again, because this is where we had the none something exception thing. Yeah. I mean, we knew that there's a cycle. So, okay, so after the cycle, I guess this while loop just kept going, given that we had a break. That doesn't really make sense, though. Oh, no. Oh, I see. This is for a different, this is for a different test case. Okay, I think I confused some test case maybe. Let's see. Let's try again just to make sure. And this is a cycle, and that's fine. We actually expected this, right? So, okay, we're back on track, kind of. So here we know that, okay. And then now, so what we do know is that it looks like the state that we had before, right? Like we had do, and then the 1 points at the 2. So what we need to do is do, and the second is still on the 1. So then now the second dot next is equal to previous second next. Okay. Okay, that is not right. Wow, I am struggling today. Okay, what is second in this case? So the second is the 1, right? Yeah. So after this, what is second? Second is the 1. But it will have a cycle, because 1 points at 2 right now. And this feels so weird. Yikes. Okay. Let me catch my breath for a second. I mean, this is going to just be -1 and 1 because we don't really change first or second. Okay, so here we had the 2, 1, 2, right? But second is pointing at 1, right? So second dot right. Yeah, I mean, it should be. We didn't change it. Unless we did. No, yeah. So then now the second, that node should point at the third node. The third node is, oh, it's, because this is the 2, so we want this dot next. Okay. This is very confusing. I don't know. But, okay, still wrong, really? Let's see. Huh. Really? The second dot, I think there are a lot of pointers that got mixed up then. Because second is also 1, right? Why is that? The second is 1, so it should point at the 2, and then, so then the previous, oh, because this changed from to this. So then what actually we want is, this is so weird though. Am I doing it? I feel like I'm not doing it in a good way. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, even though I am getting it eventually right, like I just feel like I'm really sloppy. Pointers are pretty hard though, so yeah. And of course we have to add some checks here because this is just like too many layers removed. Let's see. How do we want to fix this? This is actually line 15, so this is here. What happens if this is, if second dot next is none? So second dot next, if we have 2 nodes, say, second would be on the 1, so second dot next would be on the 2, and then dot next would be none. But what if I have 1 node? No, this one, oh yeah, 1 node, because if you have 1 node, this condition is true, but the one, yeah, this would be, yeah, okay. Though I don't know that this, oh, I mean, okay, I see why. I mean, we still have to fix it, but I actually, again, forgot to move forward. So now we can do first is equal to first dot next, so we move twice, and again, there's way likely to have none pointer or none type things because, yeah, but that's okay, right? Yeah, Okay. So if we have, is this right? Uh, uh, okay, let's just print first and second here really quickly and see if we at least get to, want to make sure at least our invariants are right before we keep going. And here we have 1, 3, and 4 after, so we move forward. That is right. The second is not right because we did modify second, I guess. So second should be just first dot next. Yeah, maybe that's a little bit better. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's try the other one. I don't think I handle one or odd number node correctly. Yeah, and this is expected because this thing doesn't go. How do I check odd number node? Because then I think we can be good. So if second dot next is none, then there's no swapping and we break. I think maybe that's right. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of tired. This is longer than I expected, and I am not good right now. So okay, so that's, we can try some small numbers, and we obviously know what the expected answer is. So so this should be good. Yeah, I mean, just if this looks good, I feel like, like it doesn't feel like it would just be wrong for some random big number. But yeah, let's see. Cool. I mean, that was way a long struggle. Hopefully that was educational. As I said in the beginning, even I struggle. And also I just noticed that this is actually doesn't fit the screen for some reason. Let's see. Huh. Okay. Wow, that is awkward. But anyway, is that all I have for this one? Yeah, it's probably all I have for this one. I mean, this is going to be linear time, constant space, because that's what they require you of. This is, I don't know. This is harder than or not harder, just like I struggled a lot more than I did. I hope I did better last time, because this code seems more reasonable. Maybe I did it with faster. I don't know. I'm actually curious how long I did it last time. I probably have a video, so let me Google myself, and that's not a euphemism. But let's see how long I did it last time, because I am curious. Last time I took 9 minutes, so I guess today is just, sometimes you have good days and sometimes you have bad days. And like I said, this is my bad day, but I still was able to get it in half an hour, which is maybe not so good. But it's just a lot of silly mistakes. This one is tough. I think I also wrote this way trickier than I did last time, because I think last time the code seems way more clearer. At least like the cases are more broken down into. So yeah, okay. I think I tried to be too clever this time, it seems like, because I think this time I try to move I try to have 2 pointers at the same time, and I think like I struggle with some of them. Where here, my last time I just had 1 pointer and then kind of set things up in a good way. Yeah, good job, past Larry. Bad job, current Larry. Anyway, cool. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully like the debugging is interesting as well. Sometimes people make that comment. So I don't know, if it's not, I'm sorry. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything tricky per se about this one. It's just about being careful and getting it right and practice. Anyway, that's all I have. Stay good, stay healthy, to good mental health, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.